Hey everybody, welcome to Yellow Dog Farm. It's time to finish fencing in this barn. When we first moved here, the first thing we started doing was planning about how we'd like to have a barn and how we'd like to have it set up. This barn is set right behind the house and it's lined up in the same axis. So you can see all the way through the front door, the back door, and down the main aisle of the barn. And it's just turned out to be everything that we wanted to. The way that the barn is set up, we also align the pastures so that they are equally divided on either side of the barn. So either to the left or to the right of the barn, we've got about a 3-acre pasture, and that way we can do some pasture rotation. We also have about a 2.5-acre pasture that's up in front of the house. So that was where we first started. We just got our horses here on the property and built a run-in and kind of hung on until we got this barn built. So when the fence was put up, we created a U-shape for the barn to be built in. And of course over the summer the barn was built, and now the only thing we have remaining is to close in between the pasture fencing and the barn. That way we won't have to halter horses when we bring them in to feed. It's just a 20 or 30 foot distance from the pasture to the barn. But if we don't halter them, they want to run off and go get the grass in front of the house or, I don't know, do horse things. So when we had them out in the front pasture, we had their run-in that was divided in 4, and we'd bring them in for feeding. Everybody knew whose stall was whose, and the herd leader would go in first, and then everyone would go in. So we're anticipating when we get this set up that the same thing will happen. So I'll give you a quick look here. I'm going to pan over and show you where the horse gates are, where the back door to the barn is, and then where their stall doors are. So there's the gate to one pasture, the dividing fence with a gate to the second pasture, and then if you just glance over here, you can see the back entrance to the barn. And then if I pan over even more, sorry about that, then you can see the stall doors. So there's 1, 2, and 3 stall doors as we look over here. So, oh, you can't quite probably see the third door past the buggy. So there it is. Well, we're going to go ahead and start by laying out our post locations. Again, the intent is to fence all this off so we can bring the horses in and feed. So you can see the stall door, and then inside underneath the metal is an 8-inch post. So we're going to go ahead and attach a flat 4x4 post right up against the barn. And then we're going to come over to right about here. We took very scientific measurements, and we have this set as the post for the gate. So we bought these 4-foot metal gates, and they're going to hang off of the outside post of the barn. So it's going to look something a little bit like that with the post coming right here. So this is a 12-foot span, so we'll have about 8 feet over to the stall area. So we'll just walk the horses in. This is Bo's stall, so we'll usher him in. He's the herd leader, so he'll go first, and then we'll do the rest. And then we mark these other post locations out here to the outside. So we got the post for the barn, the post from the pasture fence, and we'll go ahead and auger in these 2 holes, and then the hole in the gravel pad, and we'll do that on the other side as well. So Good choice, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the west side of the barn is all done. It kind of slopes up to the gravel pad, but we needed to do that to keep it high enough. We've got tall draft horses, so we want to make sure that happens. And then Daisy, our mini donkey, we can't have her getting through the bottom, so that's why we chose this spacing we did on these rails. But it fits really good. And then you can see we'll come through, we'll walk through the gate, and then we can just open up the stall doors and bring the horses in, and it's no big deal. So that's the idea. So now we won't have to halter them up. Right now we've been taking them through those gates and keeping them closed, but as soon as we finish up the other side, we can just go ahead and leave them open. So we'll say this side's in the books, and we'll go finish off the other side.